evening. Welcome to my craft room. It is Sissy from Sissy's Cards and Crafts, and thank you for joining me tonight. I got this month's paper pumpkin a couple days ago, and I thought let's get it out and do that tonight. And I also am attempting to do this live, so we'll see if anybody joins. I hope we do get some people joining. That is the goal, is to develop a crafting community. Okay, so I'm opening it up. Always comes nice and boxed. You know what it is. It's like that monthly surprise that comes. So again, remember, this is the paper pumpkin is a subscription, and you can pay it month by month, every 3 months, 6 months, and it will show up at your door, and you don't know what's in there. They release them in kind of quarterly designs, I'm going to say. So 3 will kind of be similar to one another, and you can get added things for that as well. But this is what you're going to get. You're going to get cards. There's usually stamps with it. Sometimes they're not a stamp card. That's very rare, but normally there are stamps with it. You get your Stampin' Spot, which is a little ink pad. Ink pad. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. With your first subscription or first box of a subscription, you get a block. Hold on to that, because you're going to need that for the rest of your kits, or if you do have a block that you can use from Stampin' Up, then use that. And you can notice the block that comes with the kit is thinner. They're both acrylic. They work well, but I like the regular ones that you purchase through Stampin' Up, and they've just got, there's a little beveled edge here that your fingers sit nicely into. So this is the one I'll use, but this does come with your kit, the first one. All right, then you get, oh, there's a hair there. Then you get your cards. So let's open this up. Stampin' Spot and the stamps. And I'm going to talk about the stamps in a second, just because it's a little easier to show you when I get the instructions out. Okay. That pokey part of my take your pick tool didn't help as much as I thought it would. All right, so you get your instructions with your kit, and I'm just going to pull them off the back. And on your instructions, this is the stamps. So these always match up. Let's see if I can do it the way they usually are. Pretty good, but they're not doing that. So here's like a scattered background sort of stamp. I'm always here for you. A nice little heart. So there's the heart there. Friend, I'm so sorry. I'm sending my whole heart at times when words fall short. And then this gorgeous branch. So these look more like a sympathy sort of card, or thinking of you card, rather than a birthday card. The gray granite, I do have gray granite here in a full stamp pad, so I'm going to use that instead of opening this one up, because I like to keep them. These are great kits to have if you just want something to do. Everything, like I say, is here other than the block. Everything else is included, and it can help get you thinking and get your little creative juices flowing. Or maybe, I know when I've worked away and I'm staying in a hotel, I'll throw a couple of these in my bag, and when I come back from work at night, and I just want to kind of decompress and let my creative juices flow, instead of just standing there and doing the work that I do every day. It's just a nice thing to have. And like I say, I can do it in a hotel room because it's all included. So the instructions, you'll get 3 different cards. So we have 3 each of 3 designs. And then your instructions are in like a pictograph form. So language shouldn't be an issue. Very easy to follow. All right, so let's start. And well, we've got our stamps. I'm going to use this block. We're going to see what else is included here. So you get your Oh, adhesives. So this month it is some mini dimensionals, and you get some tear and tape. It looks like is the other adhesive that's going to be there. The only other thing you might need is scissors. It's not included. So for this twine, we'll definitely need some scissors. But there's our tear and tape, our twine, our stamps, and then, like I say, 3 each of 3 designs. So that includes our envelopes. And this month you can see they've got a nice colored folded part there. They're not, nothing's on the inside. Sometimes they're on the inside. Sometimes the whole envelopes colored. Each month they're a little bit different. So then we can see we have some just cardstock here that's cut. We have some ones that are already die cut, and we just have to pop them out. Imagine they're 4 sentiments. I'm going to put the envelopes over here. We have some more cardstock that's die cut, ready to go. We have our card bases, and it looks like our card bases are all just white, but they do have like a linen texture to them, so that's quite nice. I like that. I don't know why. Unfortunately, I can't show you the free. I use, as you can tell, I use StreamYard, and the free version, I realize it's not quite the best picture. If I get more followers, I'll make it better. I promise. I'll pay the subscription fees. But until that point, we're going to have to kind of get with it. Now, this is a very intricate die cut. It's a laser cut die, or laser cut cardstock. This looks like there's a little bit of a moosh on there. It's fairly substantial, but it also is delicate. So it's a good heavy cardstock, but it's a little delicate. And then you'll see these also we have, and they are very, very beautiful. Okay, so let's start and see what we're going to do. So where's the instructions? All right, so card 1, we take a card base and we fold it. Simple enough, okay? The card base, I just have one here. I'm going to fold it. It's already scored. I can take my bone folder. And the whole reason for a bone folder, I've said this a few times, but it's to run this edge along our card to give us a nice, good, crisp fold. And as I'm doing that, I'm not leaving any sort of mark on my card. Whereas, you know, if I use my fingernails or something like that, I could mark my card up, but I don't with a nice bone folder. So they're really handy to have. Okay, so then we have our stamps, and we can see we were to stamp friend on here. And then our kind of our background speckles, we're going to stamp on these 3. Okay, so I'm wondering, why is it just 3? Because I see 5 here, but you can see there's speckles there, and then speckles at the bottom. So I am going to, I'm wondering if I keep them on here to do my stamping, if that would help. Not sure. But we're going to use one of these lovely big cuts here. These are a good weight of cardstock. I think they're 110 pounds, feels like. So it's really a good weight. Now, sometimes you get these little hanging thingies here from them being punched out. I just like to run my finger over them to make sure they're not sticking out. And okay, so this is going to be a portrait card. We are using these pieces here. They're going to go on there, and see how that fits just like that. And that's where I'm wondering if I can actually stamp with them on here. I think it'll help me position them better on my card. So bear with me and see if I'm going on the right path. Okay, those are the extras. I'm going to put them aside. Okay, so we're going to use this one. First off, we need to stamp friend on one of these pieces. I'm assuming it's one of the smaller ones because it's just friend. So we have 4 smaller ones and 4 larger ones. You will get extras. So if you do bugger up, you can fix it. But we're not going to bugger up. Okay, so here's a friend. I'm going to pop that on our block. Now, always season your stamps. That could be, some people just kind of rub their hand or their fingers over the stamp, because when they're manufactured, there's a little bit of oils that get on there, and that can make your stamp blobby when you first use it. So I like to get out my Stampin' Scrub. Oops, and it is difficult with these little ones because they tend to fall off. But I want to give it a good scrub to make sure. And you can see now, maybe you can see it's not as clear. And that's good. That means I've definitely got those oils off. And then the other thing I like to do, because it is a new stamp, I'm going to get a piece of cardstock and I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it an extra go. Anybody see what I did with the stamp pad? I had it here a second ago. There it is. Okay. All right. This gray granite, it's a very nice color. It is not quite a gray. It's not a brown. It's just a nice, I like it. Okay, so I think I've got it working all right. I'm going to ink it up and then just center it on this. Okay, it is centered. Yep. And just there. Be careful with a little stamp like this, because if you push too hard, you're going to kind of blob it, and you want it more, I don't know what that's all about. I apologize for that. I don't know what that's about. Okay, so you can see here, this is just the way I want it, but here it's not looking so good, and that's because I pressed a little bit harder. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to make sure I was getting it seasoned properly. So I do tend to press a little bit harder when I'm seasoning my stamps. Okay, so we've used that, a quick clean to make sure it's all ready to go back. Put it back because it's a little teeny tiny one. Now, these stamps are great to have. The paper pumpkin kits are an awesome way to kind of get yourself into stamping, for one, and to familiarize yourself with the products, because the products are pretty good quality. I've used some other quality products and they're not quite the best. No names being given, but some of the big box stores, I've had some of their products just not work well for me. And it's kind of sad when you're trying to do something and it doesn't work. So this is the paper pumpkin's a great way to build up your collection, get to know what the product's like, right from everything from the stamps and ink to the cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to do this on here, and it shows I'm going to do these ones here. Oops, I didn't do the blobs. I didn't think I needed to really do a trial one. I'm going to just switch this around. And I am getting it, there's a gap between, so I'm going to try to get it in that gap, but not on the next one. However, on the bottom one, I think I'm just going to place this piece of paper here. And then I'm going to, because it's not all the way down, it's more scattered like this. So I'm going to try to do this. Right. And these stamps are, these kind of background type stamps or textured stamps are really good to have on hand as well, because you can do so many different things with them. You can stamp off, so get ink on them, stamp it off on a blank piece of paper, then stamp them again, and they'll be much lighter. that works. Okay, so this is my plan. I've stamped on here, and you can see I've got them in, maybe in the between spots, but this one's clear, and that's the way they are here. So to keep them spaced properly, I'm just going to take this and put my dimensionals right on the back here. And I'm going to use my larger dimensionals than the mini ones, just because I have them. And I'm actually running out of mini dimensionals, so I can use them in other products or other card making as well. All right. Summer's coming to a close, guys. Tonight was Joshua's last bocce ball. So he was playing bocce ball this summer with Special Olympics, and they've done really well. I was really impressed. I had never played bocce ball, really had no idea of what it was like. I still haven't played because I just watched. But got to know the game, and the players did really well. And it was fun. So he says he'll do it next year, but he is looking forward to going back to bowling. That's his sport. He quite enjoys that. So it's, and I have fun watching him do bowling as well. But when bowling starts, it is definitely fall. I am a fall person. I do enjoy fall. Okay, so because I kept them there, and I just put the dimensionals on the back, I can just lay this right on the front of the card, and these will all be positioned equally right where I want them. So I'm just going to stick it down, and then I'm just going to pull this off, right? That's not the way it shows on here, but you know what, guys? I think it's pretty easy to do it that way because I struggle with spacing it. So this is a good hack in my mind for spacing. Just cautiously pull them off. All right, so there we go. Lickety split. And you can see I've got the top two, like it shows here. If you look at the instructions here. Can I get you to clarify that? It shows the top two here have a little bit of speckle behind it, and the bottom one has speckle behind it. These middle ones don't. So I've done just that. And then we've got this piece, and it's going to use the tear and tape. So it's not popping it up. It's putting tear and tape on it, and it's laying right down on here like this. Okay, which I really like. I'm questioning why it's, oh, I see why it's not popped up, because we're going to pop up the hello. All right, I'll go with that. But honestly, I think I'd pop it all up. Pop up is kind of the lingo for putting a dimensional on the back to lift it up and make it a different level, right? Which I think I like the dimension in cards. For me, texture and dimension are a big thing. Now, if you do something like I just did, where the tape now is overhanging, don't worry about it. We can fix that, okay? How we fix that is we pull this off and then just wrap that tape back around. So with the backing on, it's quite stiff. But once you take that backing off, the tape is very thin. It's very sticky, and it works really well. But if you do kind of get a little bit too much, which is easy to do when you're just tearing it, right? You just want to wrap it around the edge or pull it back or something. Okay, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, so that goes there like that. It's just such a beautiful color. What is that? What called? Trying to think of the name of that. Lost Lagoon. Okay, so then we have our friend is going to go here right on that piece there. And I think we're going to have to, oh, you know what? I'm going to use some edges here. And the reason I'm thinking that's a good idea is because it's going to sit right on this edge here. And so I want to make sure I'm catching that. So if I cover the whole thing, I think I'll do a little bit better. All right, then our hello. So we're going to punch out a hello here. Again, this is a really good heavy cardstock. I will need these mini ones for this. And it shows you right where to put the dimensionals, which helps because, you know what, I don't know where they're going to fall. So if I put them where it shows, I'm going to get them in the right spot. And then I've got a little hello right there. So hello friend. That is so pretty. I like that. Now there's, see those little hangy things there? I just kind of run your finger over them if they did. And that's because I lifted it off. I didn't punch them out right and put my fingers over it. But it looks really nice. I think I've got some ideas for doing kind of a variation of this. What I would do is I'd take that Lost Lagoon and blending brush and just do a good smear behind it. So there'd be little pale pops of that Lost Lagoon in on the back there. I do like white on white. I appreciate that, but I think just a little bit more would be quite nice. Okay, so then we're not going to stamp the inside, but we could use, we've got hello, sending my whole heart at a time when words fall short. Yeah, or I'm always here for you. Those things would say, like hello friend, I think would be great sentiments for the inside. Okay, hard one then, third two now. And this is, looks like kind of a Cajun Craze color. Again, the card bases are all the same. So we're going to take one and we're going to give it a good run with our bone folder. It is a portrait orientation as well. And this sentiment that is that sending my heart at a time. That sentiment, we're going to use that one on this. So I'm going to season it. Now, when I was last on, which was a few days ago, they still had some Stampin' Scrubs on clearance. So if you could get your hand on it, I really think they're great. I know people use and swear by the jammies, which I'm sure they're good too. I do have one. You have to keep them damp to use them, which isn't a problem, depending on what your situation is with your craft room. Do you have a sink in there, or do you have to go between two different areas to get a sink? Okay, so we're going to take this round one and we're going to stamp this sentiment on here. Okay. This ink doesn't really look like there's ink on my stamp, but I'm sure there is because I've inked it enough. Okay, so sending my heart at a time when words fall short. Make sure it has a chance to get in there. And this looks like a mini, something nature heart die. You can see it almost looks like the, oh, shoot, I can't think of the name of it right now. But anyway, I like it. All right, so we've got that. We're going to take some twine here. Twine. And first off, I like to just make a little slit in the top of my tube so that twine is going to sit in there. And it says I need 15 inches. So if I go to my Glass Mat Studio, there's 13. And there's 15 inches. The Glass Mat Studio is such a handy thing. It is where I actually got the chamois. So there's a purple chamois that's meant for cleaning your cards and stuff, or there's a gray chamois that comes with this. I believe they're the same type of material. They work really good. As you can see, here's the gray one, and it's like, it's hard. It's very, it works really good. They're all going to stain with your ink. Like, you're not, some of it will wash out, but not all of it. I've even tried keeping it, like getting it wet and holding it in this case, but it doesn't, it might last for my crafting time, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot more. I come back in tomorrow and it would be done. Okay, so it looks like it's been wrapped about 3, maybe 4 times. So I'm going to take my 4 fingers. I'm going to hold the end and wrap it. Well, it looks like I've got it twice. That's about it. Is that too much? Maybe I should just, I think I need 4 fingers to do that. So let me start that again just to be certain. So I'm going to let that dangle there. Try to get that so it's equal. There we go. And then I'm just going to twist it so it kind of looks like a bow, but not a bow. And then we're going to stick it on the back. And the way to do this is with some tear and tape. So you're going to take some tear and tape. Now this shows it going in this direction. So kind of put the tear and tape with the direction of your words. So up and down. And then we're going to pull this off. And I did make it too long, so I'm not sticking that end down because I'm going to use that. And then it's going on like this. I'm just going to pick up that. And then I'm going to pull this over the top. I'm actually going to just stick another piece on, but I'm not going to make it quite so long. Sometimes it will slide out. So if you seal it in like that, it's not going to slide out. So that's a good way of doing it. So there's my back piece. So there we go. All right. And then it shows this piece is on the back. This is so pretty. Oh my goodness. It's like I say, it's a good heavy cardstock, but you want to make sure the weight is there. All right. So then this is going the opposite direction. And that stays on there like that. There we go. I think that's the way it's supposed to go. I'm just going to separate these a little bit. Well, maybe I can do that when it gets on the card. Okay. Boopity boop. All right. So now we have this piece, and this is going to center on here with this at the bottom. So we're going to put, and like I say, it shows you right here where to put your glue or your dimensionals. So in the corners and in the center part. And then we're going to put, oh no, just one here too. I thought maybe we'd get 2 down the side, but it's just 1. I think I might put 2 though. I'm going to break the rules, go against the rules. I kind of buggered that one up. I tore it, but I think I want 2 here. I just want it well supported. All right. So we're going to put this here, up there, and 1 in the corner, and 1 here. Now we also have some throughout the middle because if we don't support the middle, it's going to just fall, right? So do we have spots big enough to hold these? We do, just barely. Some are better than others. It says one should go here, and I think just to get that there. Okay, these sticking out. And this one a little bit. Try to move it over. Okay, peel my backings. All the backings. And I just put them in my little Rose Coleman. She, if you watch her, she refers to this little tray as her charcuterie tray because she'll put things that are prepared, ready to go on her card on this and sorts out. They're meant to put your little Stampin' Dots on, but also hold the garbage. So I'm putting my little backings on there. All right, so this is going to center on the front of my card. Just like that. Okay. And then this is going to go down here in the bottom. Simple, simple, simple. This is showing, again, some tear and tape. Do you know what? I think I want to just put some dimensionals on that. I am going to thoroughly break the rules tonight. I'm going to put a couple of big dimensionals on so it catches everything here. But it does show using tear and tape. Let me know what you think. Would you use the dimensionals, or would you do what I'm doing? There we go. Quick, easy, really nice. Again, though, I think I would just take Cajun Craze and just put a nice, with the blending brush, just beneath it to give it just a little bit more pop. But I do like the white on white, not crashing that idea. All right, so this one, again, blank card, fold it in half, and it is a portrait one as well. We don't have any landscape cards. Okay, so we've got our card, and then I'm always here for you is going to go on my block and on one of those larger pieces here. So I'm thinking I'm going to need this. And then this larger one is the one I'm going to use. Oh, my fingernails are dirty. I'm sorry, guys. Again, out in the garden today, and I didn't clean my fingernails. Okay, so I'm always here for you. If your block doesn't work, like it's too short, you can put it on an angle like that. That's quite often what I do. And something like this one, be very careful because it's easy to get it on and skew it, which is nice because sometimes we want to actually bend it, and we can do that. But if you're worried or you're struggling with that, the best thing to do is just lay it down on your mat or on a piece of paper and then go in and pick it up from there. And you'll get it in the right, or it won't be bent. So again, I'm going to just season this, make sure it's all ready to go. And I'm going to grab my piece of paper to give it a try. And then I'm going to give it a try. So I'm always here for you. And again, I'm just going to kind of really squish it and move it around just to make sure that's all good, that all those oils are off. The first few times, a couple years ago, that I was getting paper pumpkin, when I first started, I was a little disappointed because I'm like, these stamps just are not working. They were very, the best way to describe it is bubbly. Like I'd stamp and there'd be like bubbles and blobs in it. And I think it was just that the oils were, so many oils were on it that it was just hard to wash it off. I did soap and water. I did everything and I wasn't coming off. And one stamp or one paper pumpkin, it was so cute. I was so excited to use it, but then I'm like, this just isn't what I want. I was so disappointed. All right, so then these leaves are very beautiful. This is a stamp set that I think, or a stamp that I think I will use, and I'm thinking of a card that I need to do. I'm like, I might use this on that. Okay, so let's give it a try. Ink it up and stamp it. I like it. Look at that. That's the first stamp. That's pretty darn good. Like I was just saying, I have done some and I was so disappointed with. And this one is just beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this on here like this. Let's get my paper straight. That will help. Cardstock, rather. Okay, so then I've got that going on there. Oh my goodness, I just put my ink. That's why my fingernails are dirty. I just put my fingers right in the ink. Oh, lovely. Okay, so I'm just too excited about the stamp. I think it's so nice. All right. So now we have our card. Is it? It shows here landscape or portrait, but down here it almost looks landscape. Let's look at the front. It is a landscape. Okay, I take that back. I like that. So landscape is opening this way. So it's supposed to sit like this, and then our tag goes here. I'm just going to rub that a little bit. So our twine, again, is 15 inches. And if you don't have something to measure on, you can use the side of the instructions. That's a measuring rule right there. So that helps out very, very much, quite a bit. Very, very much. I think we'll stick with quite a bit. All right. It looks like they've wrapped. Oh, sorry. We're missing a piece here. You want to pull off this gorgeous gray granite die cut. And I like how they pull out all of those extra pieces so you're really not fighting with it. It comes out quite easy. Okay, so that's going to sit on top of that. I was going to say, please tell me it's dimensionals. And it is. It is dimensionals. All right. So we're going to use these lovely little mini dimensionals. Orient it the right way so I can follow their instructions here. Ooh, buddy, don't hang off. Get back on there. I'm just going to have to trim it because it's kind of hanging off. Okay. And there. And there. Now you could, and you've seen me do it too, just cut down here and make little tiny squares if you want to get it in a little bit, get some of these leaves that are a little bit hard to get these right on center because you don't want to see them from the front, right? Okay, so this is going to match up with that and look so pretty like that. So I kind of would like something behind there, I think. Don't want to bend it, but I do need to get one there. Okay. Sweet. All right, so then we're going to take our twine and we're going to wrap it around and tie a bow. Ooh, that's tricky. How are we supposed to do that? I think, guys, it says 15 inches, but I think I would give more than that. This is going to be, I'm not going to get a bow out of that. And I went over 15 inches. So here's my twine. And I'm going here. There's 13 right there. And then there's 3. So I actually did 16. And that's not enough to go around twice and tie a bow. I'm sorry. Just not happening. So I would give yourself more than that. This is just going to have to be a knot because it's just a bow is not going to happen. And what I like to do is when you got them across, so here I've crossed my top one to make a knot. I'm going to put that one end under the bottom one, just so I make sure that when I do my next knot, or if I was doing a bow, it would hold those two together and they wouldn't separate. Okay. So unfortunately, that's all I can do to double it up. I didn't have to double it, but I personally would rather double it than have just a single one in a bow. But if that's just personal preference. So I'm just going to trim that end up because it is a little bit long. There's that inch that I had the extra inch, right? Okay, so now this is going to go on here, and they are using dimensionals for that. So because it's a large piece, I'm going to just bring out the large dimensionals, which these are not part of your kit. You have enough mini dimensionals to do it, but I just think that these ones make it a little bit easier and quicker. And I have lots here, so I'm going to use them. Okay, so here we go. Lickety split, make sure your card opens right, and then center it top to bottom. See how much that space is, and then equal that on the side or match that on the side and put that in there. Now for here, for this one, they're putting 2 dimensionals. So they're doing one at this end and one in the middle. And then they're taking a little piece of tear and tape and putting it here. And the reason they're doing that is because this is going to be sitting up on this part that's already dimensionalized or raised up with those foam dots. And so we want to make sure that's stuck down, but then these, the other end is up. Now it comes way over, but I don't really want to cover that little bush. I think he's too cute. I think he's too cute to cover him. But we'll do it like it shows. All right, so there we go. That is number 3. Easy peasy, really nice. Like that is a very nice, clean, very beautiful card for a sympathy card. I think that would be good for masculine or anybody, but I still would like to just put a little bit of color behind that. So I might try that with the other ones, and if I do that, I'll post them on my Facebook page, so Sissy's Cards and Crafts. And thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next month for another paper pumpkin, or we'll see you tomorrow night for another card that I am doing. All right, and they have the coordinating envelopes. So we've got the Cajun Craze, the Lost Lagoon color, and then just a gray granite to go with this simple white one. All right, take care.